Welcome, everyone. Today, we are exploring one of the most significant shifts in modern industry, maintenance leadership in the AI era. While the technology is groundbreaking, our focus isn't just on the software. It's on the governance and operating models that ensure AI leads to safer, faster, and more reliable decisions for our organizations. When discussing AI, many boards start by asking if the models can predict failure. But the more critical question for leadership is, who has the authority to act when the model shows confidence, yet the physical evidence is still incomplete? We must remember that while an AI decision is purely technical, a maintenance decision is socio-technical, involving people, safety, and real-world consequences. Our executive thesis is simple. AI changes the speed and shape of leadership, but it never changes the duty of the leader. AI excels at signal detection and pattern recognition, but only leaders can decide risk posture and resource commitment, and only teams on the ground can verify the actual field conditions. The competitive advantage here isn't autonomous maintenance, it's disciplined augmentation. To succeed, there are 5 leadership practices that must change immediately. We need to design decision rights rather than just workflows, manage the uncertainty and drift inherent in models, integrate data quality into daily management, redesign roles to focus on augmentation, and measure realized reliability instead of just model activity. Conversely, there are 5 obligations that must never be delegated to an algorithm. Life safety is paramount. No prediction ever overrides stop work authority. Accountability must remain with a named human. Physical verification is essential. Craft experience remains a vital asset. And every intervention must be a learning opportunity for the entire system. Consider this moment of truth. A model predicts a failure in 72 hours, but operations can't stop the line. A technician disagrees with the data signature, and a necessary part isn't in stock. In this scenario, a confidence score won't save you. What you need is a robust decision architecture to navigate these conflicting pressures. In this first section, we'll examine why leadership must change. The core issue is that AI is increasing the velocity of decision-making much faster than most organizations are redesigning their frameworks for accountability. AI enters the maintenance lifecycle through 6 capability layers, from sensing raw data to eventually learning from outcomes. As AI moves from simple detection toward recommending and orchestrating actions, leadership exposure increases. We must be prepared to govern these deeper layers of technological influence. Think of a maintenance decision as a chain of commitments, from the initial signal to the final learning phase. AI can contribute to every link in this chain, but it should never silently own any of them. The leader's task is to make ownership and evidence explicit at every single handoff. It's important to realize that technology only supplies potential value. A better signal only leads to value if it results in a better decision and safer execution. Leadership is the mechanism that either realizes this potential value or destroys it through poor implementation. Promising AI pilots often die in the execution gap. This happens when there's no trusted asset hierarchy, when alerts lack process ownership, or when there's no feedback loop to confirm if an intervention actually worked. We must bridge this gap to see real results. The new bottleneck in industry isn't a lack of data. It's a constraint on organizational judgment. While AI expands the volume of signals and recommendations, our attention and resources remain finite. The solution is better governance and decision discipline, not just more alerts. In Section 2, we discuss what changes. In this new era, maintenance leaders must transition into being designers of an augmented decision system. This requires a shift in the leadership role itself. Traditionally, the focus was on supervising work, schedules, backlogs, and labor. Now, the center of gravity moves to evidence quality, authority, and exceptions. The leader's primary deliverable is now a reliable system that turns signals into verified outcomes. The leader's operating system now includes 4 new loops: sensing to ensure data is trustworthy, challenging the model's findings, deciding who accepts the risk, and learning to ensure the action actually restored function. This is the core of accountable leadership. Daily management routines must also evolve. Standard work now includes reviewing suppressed alerts at the start of a shift, testing high-consequence recommendations against field evidence mid-shift, and reviewing model overrides and drift every week. Context engineering is a new, essential skill. A model is only as good as the context it receives, such as asset boundaries, operating modes, and failure history. Leadership owns the integrity of this context boundary, even when the technology is doing the heavy lifting of assembly. Data stewardship is now a core part of the reliability agenda. Every step, from tagging to verifying outcomes, must be accurate. If we don't capture the final outcome correctly, neither the maintenance strategy nor the AI model can ever truly learn or improve. In an AI-augmented world, the leader's work shifts away from averages and toward managing exceptions. This includes handling low-confidence predictions with high consequences, instances where the model disagrees with the technician, or cases where data is lost during abnormal operations. We must always remember that confidence is not the same as consequence. An AI might be 82% confident in its prediction, but if the consequence of failure is catastrophic, that high score does not reduce the absolute requirement for human verification. Model drift is now an equipment management issue. Any change in process, sensors, or maintenance can invalidate what the model has learned. Leaders must define drift triggers and assign clear owners for model revalidation whenever physical changes occur. The quality of our work orders is now the quality of our training data. Moving from low learning records like checked OK to high learning records that document as found conditions and failure causes is essential for both human and machine learning. Reliability engineering must ensure that failure mode learning outpaces model learning. While AI can generate hypotheses, the organization must establish the actual evidence and causal sufficiency. We cannot let the model itself become the root cause. Manage AI as a portfolio of capabilities. Simple tasks like searching and drafting require lower authority, while orchestrating labor or automating actions require much higher levels of governance and approval. Different use cases deserve different levels of assurance. Commercial discipline is vital. When managing vendors, leaders must challenge claims with evidence. We need to know what operating envelopes were validated, how confidence is calibrated, and whether the plant can audit the decision trail. The lines between cyber resilience and maintenance resilience are blurring. Data poisoning or unapproved model changes can lead to unsafe work or a total loss of trust. We must design safe, degraded modes of operation before these systems are ever deployed. Workforce roles are shifting from producing answers to assuring decisions. While AI fluency should be distributed across technicians, planners, and leaders, accountability remains fixed. Everyone plays a part in ensuring the decision system remains robust. AI literacy must include the right to challenge the system. Competence isn't just knowing how to use the tools. It's knowing how to interpret confidence levels, seek disconfirming evidence, and recognize when to escalate a problem. Now we move to Section 3, what must never change. Safety, accountability, craft, and verification remain fundamental human obligations that no technology can replace. Safety procedures are our hard boundary. While AI might recommend an intervention, only authorized people can establish and verify hazardous energy control. No model output is ever a substitute for a physical energy isolating device. Governance must be named, visible, and traceable. We need to know exactly who recommended an action, who challenged it, who authorized it, and who verified it. If ownership is ambiguous, the system is not ready to be scaled across the organization. The physical asset, not the digital dashboard, always has the final word. Leaders must insist on confirming equipment boundaries, validating symptoms in the field, and recording both as found and as left evidence for every job. We must also protect craft knowledge. While patterns are in the data, the meaning is in the work. Experienced people notice smells, sounds, and nuances that a model might miss. Our goal is to digitize craft without devaluing the craftsperson. The classic plan, do, check, act cycle still governs reliable change. AI simply increases the cycle speed. But leadership's job is to protect the integrity of each step to ensure we aren't just moving faster toward the wrong outcomes. Culturally, we must protect the right to dissent. A healthy learning culture encourages people to say, "The model may be wrong," or "This procedure doesn't fit the condition," without fear of retribution. Ethical boundaries belong in our maintenance governance. This means no covert surveillance, no fabricated AI evidence, protected access to sensitive data, and a firm rule that accountability laundering via an algorithm is never acceptable. Workforce trust is a reliability control. People who feel respected will surface weak signals that AI might miss. By co-designing workflows and rewarding quality evidence, we invest in the human capability that AI is meant to amplify. In Section 4, we look at decision rights and governance. The key is to match the level of autonomy we give the system to the consequence and reversibility of the decision. We suggest a 6-level authority ladder. Most maintenance AI should start at the lower levels, informing or recommending, where a human always makes the final call. Autonomous action should be rare and heavily engineered for control. As the consequences of a decision rise, the level of AI autonomy must decrease. When evidence is weak and consequences are high, we must require independent reviews or physical inspections before proceeding. We can also use a traffic-light governance model to classify use cases. Green items like drafting job plans are low risk, while red items involving safety-critical systems require the highest level of human authorization and regulatory oversight. Every AI recommendation needs a visible decision path, from the output to the context check, through the risk classification to the human gate. Each step must be clear, with defined escalation triggers when limits are exceeded. The human gate must be a meaningful challenge, not just a rubber stamp. We must ask, what evidence supports this? What would change the conclusion? Is the action reversible? Only then should we authorize the work. Stop work authority must always be stronger than automation bias. Any qualified person should feel empowered to pause an AI-influenced action if they notice a data integrity concern or a conflict with safe procedures. Our assurance process requires an audit trail that reconstructs the entire decision, not just the output. If you can't explain the rationale behind a decision after the event, it means you didn't govern it properly before the event. Decision ownership must be explicit across all functions. This RACI blueprint ensures that operations, maintenance, and reliability teams all know their specific roles in validating signals, setting priorities, and accepting risks. Finally, escalation triggers should be coded into our processes before we ever start pilot. A well-defined rule for when to escalate based on uncertainty or consequence is much faster and safer than having an argument in the middle of a crisis. Moving to Section 5, we'll look at high-value applications. The goal is to start where AI improves our preparation and evidence, rather than where it tries to bypass established controls. A credible pilot should follow a structured 12-week path. We start by baselining, then shadowing the AI's advice against human decisions, before moving to human-gated assistance. We are piloting the entire decision system, not just the model. In planning and scheduling, let AI do the heavy lifting of drafting steps and identifying parts, but always have a human approve the final executable work package. Success here is measured by plan quality, not just the number of plans generated. For condition monitoring, we combine pattern recognition with failure mode logic. AI detects the signal and contextualizes it, but we must avoid the shortcut of simply replacing components based on an anomaly without field verification. In spares optimization, AI can help us balance demand and supply, but we must protect our resilience. The cheapest inventory policy predicted by a narrow model can often turn out to be the most expensive policy during a major outage. During shutdowns, AI can compress the time spent on preparation, like scope clustering and material reconciliation, but must never be used to compress the assurance steps like isolation readiness or functional testing. Frontline assistance should be used to reduce search time for procedures or history. However, they are strictly prohibited from issuing isolations, authorizing deviations, or declaring equipment safe to operate. Those remain human authorities. Section 6 focuses on measurement and assurance. We need to measure whether our decisions and assets are actually improving, not just how often people are clicking on the new tools. A balanced scorecard for AI maintenance includes safety metrics, decision quality, execution first time right rates, and long-term asset outcomes. We also track learning, such as how well we are closing work orders and detecting model drift. Leading indicators like context completeness and the challenge rate of recommendations give us an early look at the health of our governance. They tell us if the system is being used with the necessary discipline. Our outcome measures are the lagging indicators that confirm value: reduced risk exposure, better reliability trends, and stable production. We must use these to prove that AI is actually delivering a net benefit after all costs are considered. Beware of anti-metrics or adoption theater. Things like the number of prompts submitted or the number of alerts generated don't prove quality and can actually hide high consequence misses. We want real reliability, not just busy-looking dashboards. In our final section, we discuss implementation. The strategy is to start bounded, learn in the open, and scale only after your governance and outcomes are proven in the field. A 90-day launch roadmap helps prove control. We define the boundary, shadow the process, and then move to human-gated assistance. Each phase has a clear gate to ensure the system is safe and useful before moving forward. When selecting your first pilot, choose one for learning, not just publicity. Look for a decision that matters but can fail safely. Avoid catastrophic consequence systems or areas with weak data for your initial tests. Create a cross-functional governance council. This group, led by an accountable asset leader, has the mandate to approve use cases, set limits, and decide when to scale or retire a model. It ensures all voices, from EHAs to data science, are heard. A simple, one-page policy can establish your critical boundaries. It should clearly state the purpose, the decision authority levels, the required evidence, and the escalation triggers for every AI use case. Leadership routine turns policy into actual behavior. By building model reviews and exception management into daily, weekly, and monthly standard work, we ensure AI remains a managed part of our operations. Workforce development should focus on real decisions. Certification shouldn't just be about how to navigate the software. It should test a person's judgment, their ability to challenge outputs, and their understanding of when to escalate. For the board and executive team, there are 7 key actions. These include naming an accountable executive, defining red line use cases, and ensuring that data readiness is funded just as much as the software itself. In closing, let AI widen our field of view, but let people retain the duty to decide. The future of maintenance leadership isn't less human. It is about being more deliberate about where human judgment matters most. Together, we can achieve faster insights and safer execution. This presentation draws on several global standards, including NIST and ISO frameworks for AI and asset management. These provide the foundation for the governance models we discussed today. Finally, please note this disclosure. This guidance is for leadership and governance purposes and should be validated against your local laws and procedures. Remember, technology may recommend, but accountable people decide. Thank you.